If you've been dreaming of ideas for your outdoor space and how to make the most of it, well, Article has a solution for you. Nellie and I just got a couple of exquisite outdoor pieces for our outdoor oasis. Fabulous, just truly fabulous.
Dare I say your backyard has never looked better?
Never looked better. And you too can be an Article customer. Listen, Article has great designs, great furnitures. They have something for everyone, but their outdoor pieces are truly remarkable. I mean, truly, really high quality with very reasonable prices. They have affordable shipping across US and Canada and a super easy exchange policy. If you happen to not like or want to return or exchange your Article piece, they will come pick it up, bring you something new. Super headache free. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/VIALL and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Ask Nick edition. I'm your host, joined by the household of Genevieve and Allie are in the room. Amanda, well, technically I think Amanda's back today.
Thank God. She has rejoined us on this beautiful country.
Well, the day this episode comes out, I'll be back, but she is still touring Australia. Have we heard from her?
She emailed me.
She emailed you?
Yeah. I think maybe that's how we'll coordinate in our communication. But she'll be back on the 17th, I think, because this lovely woman coordinated her flights to be back for my birthday. And if that's not the cutest thing that I've ever heard, I don't know what is.
So cute.
She remembered, and I found that
Is
lovely.
your birthday on Saturday?
Yeah. But I am throwing a banging birthday
It'll be
bash.
awesome.
It's going to be very fun. It's Parent Trap themed. Because I'm turning 26,
Like
and Meredith Blake was 26 in the movie.
Obviously.
Yes. Yeah,
You have a Hallie and an Annie drink.
yeah, we
Meredith
have
Blake is
signature
the
drinks.
mistress?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Nick
yeah.
Parker's
girlfriend.
new young thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are gonna have signature drinks called the Hallie and the Annie. A Camp Walden giant sign. I have a glitter sign that says Meredith Blake energy.
How old is Nick Parker in the movie?
I don't even know.
Do we know? But how do we know her age?
Because Lindsay Lohan goes, "How old are you, anyways?" And she goes, 26.
But we don't know how old Nick
How
Parker
old is
was?
Nick Parker? We're pulling it up.
44. 18 years. Not that bad. I remember watching that movie when I was younger and being like, ew, how dare she?
Now
and
I
then
watch it
and I'm like, Dennis Quaid.
Honestly, the visual of Dennis Quaid when
my
she gets off the
God.
plane from camp and
Wait,
he's like,
do you have the hots for Dennis?
"Come here, squirt."
Who
I'm
doesn't
like,
have the hots for
say
Dennis?
less.
Oh.
Okay.
And his son, Jack Quaid, he's a cutie too.
I would totally marry Dennis Quaid. He married someone not
Absolutely.
far from our age, like early 20s.
I think it was like a 30
no,
year
it's Meg
age gap.
Ryan.
You have, yeah, but you're way behind.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
Wait, they're not married anymore?
No,
Oh
a
my God,
friend of
no.
mine met someone who was friends with the wife, and they're all the same age. Like she was in college when we were.
Yeah, he's married to like a 30-year-old.
No, young. I swear it's younger than
Oh my
that.
God, where have I been?
Yeah, I don't know where you've
Well,
been.
that's where Jack Quaid came from, is from that marriage.
These two met in 2019, and he said he experienced love at first sight. Nick.
Well, that's a lie.
Oh my God.
He had the benefit of
Wait,
hindsight.
she graduated college in 2015?
No, I'm telling you, she's around our age.
Oh my God, it could have been me and I
Could've been
missed
you.
out.
We missed the freaking boat on this one. I am telling you.
Who even is she?
This is tragic. I mean,
Not you.
Ugh.
this is how I felt when I saw that Ryan Seacrest had a girlfriend who was 24 when I was 24, and I was like, how do I keep missing the boat? Like, it's not my age
Yeah,
that's the inhibitor.
I
It's just
know.
fate.
It's
Why
really
haven't I
sad.
met any of them? Ugh.
Damn.
I gotta start networking better.
Well, going back to
Oh.
August birthdays, I was surprised at this. August is the month with the most amount of birthdays, the most
Mhm.
popular birthday month.
One of
But
my
Is that
friends,
because everyone's fucking in the cold
In
Januarys?
December.
one of my friends sent me a TikTok being like, because everyone was having sex on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, it's cold inside, you know? You have nowhere to go.
I guess.
You're an
Maybe.
August birthday.
Is that why?
Natalie's an August birthday.
Yeah, he's an August birthday. Are you guys the same age?
No,
A year
she's a year
apart.
younger.
You're apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't feel that way though. Feels like we're
Really?
What?
That makes one of us. Nick, do you have any fond birthday memories?
That was mean.
It's just a joke. For anyone who
This is
doesn't
what
know,
we do.
we're actually very, very close. You should see us drive together because it's wild.
You should see us drive together. I think we've been in a car together once.
And it was memorable.
What did we do?
You just make me laugh in a way that a lot of people don't. Not everyone's as funny as Genevieve.
Allie.
That was a joke for
So,
those
August
people
birthdays.
who like were commenting that I'm a bitch. I'm not, I promise. Do you have any fond
Tell
birthday
us your
memories?
favorite birthday memories.
Last year was pretty good. You know, Natalie threw me a surprise birthday party.
That she did.
That's so fun.
I'm not a big birthday guy, you know.
I want to skip my birthday this year.
No.
I don't want to do it.
It's hard. You
But
just
we're
moved
getting
to a new
dinner.
city.
That's nice
You
of
don't.
you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm
We're
excited
gonna get some
about that.
dinner.
Yeah.
After a better
Well,
date than
happy
never.
birthday.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Speaking
Yeah,
of summer,
I love a summer birthday, and I love summer.
It was a great transition.
It's coming to a close.
We have
and
a
so
caller.
Dude,
I-
one. How is summer coming to a close? 2, should I have
Well-
done more this summer? 3, should I have had sex this summer?
It's too hot to have sex. That's why all the August babies were conceived in
It's
December.
too warm.
It's too warm. Don't touch me. It's hot.
You get a pass for the summer.
Do I? Because I didn't use it. A pass to not have it, or a
Yeah.
pass to have a lot of it?
No.
Isn't summer usually when people are like,
Summer's for like summer fling.
yeah.
So before we get to our callers, we have a very timely, topical email submission from someone who was trying to have a sex goddess summer, which is
Summer's
something
almost
we.
over.
This is
But just
this is why I
hear-
needed to get it in.
Late in the
Just
game. All right,
phrase
anyways.
sex goddess
Before summer ends. All right,
Before
continue.
summer ends, gotta help her out. So she goes, "My name is Mandy. She's 26. I know you have reservations about hookup culture, but I've been a listener for a while and I wanted your advice on an issue I've been having. Simply put, how forward is too forward when pursuing a more casual relationship with a guy? I have been having what I call a sex goddess summer, which has been incredibly fun. I'm bi and no stranger to the difference between
Whoa.
pursuing folks of different genders. However, I'm tired of waiting for men to make the first move and want to be more authentic to who I am, a decisive woman who knows what she wants. However, a pattern has emerged that I don't know how to break. When I'm flirty but not overt about my interest sexually, I'll end up on a nice date with a guy who either doesn't invite me for a nightcap or who doesn't pick up on my hints about grabbing dessert somewhere, etc. When I'm more honest about wanting a good time, I'll often get treated like a piece of ass and not respected as an intelligent, successful woman who happens to enjoy sex.
What does she mean by not respected?
I think she wants the dates with the sex. If she just brings up the sex, there's not much like respect, date, formality.
However, so she says, the majority of the time when she's trying to pursue this, the guy will become less respectful of my time or talk a big game but doesn't follow through. How do I ride the line so guys don't treat me as expendable, but I also get laid and have a good time while I'm at it?
You don't.
Nick!
What?
Unless she finds like one
If
consistent friends with benefits.
if I'm understanding her correctly, this is how I'm hearing it. I want to participate in hookup culture. I want to have sex, and she's having a good time. That's great. And she's saying, if I'm hearing her right, that when she is not forward about her intentions about like possibly like hooking up on a first or second date, it tends to not happen. Which my guess is that means that maybe guys, whether they wanted to have sex or not, are playing it more slowly. Maybe trying not to be more forward or actually trying to get to know her and yada, yada. And then she's saying, well, on the flip side, when I do say, hey, listen, you want to just come up and have some sex? That guys flip a switch. Like, what I'm hearing is they flip a switch and it's assume like, I guess she just wants to fuck. And then it turns into a hookup culture situation. She wants her cake and eat it too, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it feels like the type of
Yeah.
a situation where it's going to be really hard to find someone who somehow is going to be able to do both, or maybe not really hard, but it's not just going to be people's instincts. I feel like you're going to those are the two kind of camps that I feel like you find people in.
Yeah.
So to find someone who's in the middle of that Venn diagram is going to take more time. So she's probably going to have to go on dates, experiencing
She's not
one
even
or the
saying she's
other.
looking for a boyfriend.
Correct.
She wants to find a guy who like wants to hook up, but pretends to want to do the romance part for the sake of pretending.
Maybe she just wants like a friends with benefit.
No, give me to be
Yeah.
clear. Like when she says if she disrespected, if a guy starts being rude and talking down to her, that's never okay.
No, and I don't
But
think it's
if
that.
she means that it becomes more transactional and he doesn't really try anymore and he doesn't put an effort to follow up, well, you turned it into a hookup. I'm sorry. You know, I know she knows I'm going to say this because she referenced my thoughts on hookup culture. It's hookup culture. So if you're going to participate in it, you have to accept it for what it is. And if you're going to hook up with someone and have sex with someone without knowing who they are or anything about them, it is more transactional. And you can have expectations of them, but chances are they're not going to live up to them. And you will continue to be surprised, or more accurately, you will continue to be disappointed in these guys who don't, continue to wine and dine you after you have sex with them. Because unless they have sex with you and have their minds blown, and that's the thing, she doesn't even want to date them. So it's like, what exactly does she want?
I can't tell if she just wants like consistent sex, or if she wants like the date with sex, but no.
Yeah, I think she's going to have to be very particular with what that means. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe she wants to just be able to consistently go to one guy's house and like he'll make her a drink or dinner and then they bang and then that's what she wants. But maybe it's more than that. Maybe she wants to go on a date.
What I think it is that subconsciously or consciously, she is letting societal pressures cause her to judge herself for wanting sex goddess summer. And so I'm here to say, if you want to have sex goddess summer and have a bunch of sex, continue to pop off, queen. Enjoy yourself. But it is what it is, And a guy treating it transactional, don't judge yourself for that. You want it to be transactional. You want it to just have sex. So stop pretending that you need to have some sort of rapport with this guy, or they should respect you. They should treat you like a human being. They should, respect your boundaries. But if your boundaries include fucking and you put it out there, I would limit your expectations over the whining and dining and the romance and the playing house of it all, or whatever it is that she's expecting that makes her feel less used. Because my guess is, even though she's down to have sex goddess summer, the way these men are acting are making her feel less than or worthless. Like they just being like, all right, well, if you want to fuck, let's just fuck, are making her feel less than. And either she needs to stop judging herself because, she shouldn't. She's entitled to have as much sex as she wants. Or maybe come to the realization that as fun as sex is to have with random people, and it can be fun, not all of us are made for it, that it impacts us emotionally in ways that we might not want to. It affects us. Sex is a powerful thing. It affects all of us in different ways. And yeah, would it be fun to just be single and just have a bunch of meaningless sex without any consequences? Sure. But that's just not how it works. I think she's just going to have a honest conversation with herself. Is this really what she wants? Sounds like she is having fun, but maybe if she is having fun and she wants to continue to have fun doing that, she has to stop letting how these men are acting make her feel less than about herself for her choices.
I had a friend who was really good at this, and I don't even think it was that she like communicated a lot with these guys. Like, this is what I want. This is what I don't want. She would just like text them, let's hang out. Text them, let's get dinner. Text them, I'll meet you at your apartment.
Okay.
She didn't like make any rules or boundaries. Like, I don't want to see you during the daytime. Or if we do, it doesn't mean that it's a date. She would just like.
She didn't do that.
No, she didn't do that.
Yeah.
She didn't ask for boundaries. She just asked for what she wanted. And more often than not, these guys were like, yeah, you can come over and we can have sex.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll get dinner with you.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything tonight.
Totally.
She like
But
relied
how
on
is
the
that different
spontaneity
than
to
what
make it casual.
what our writer is asking for?
Because it sounds like she might be being too specific with what she wants, which then maybe gets them in their head.
Yeah, of like
I
outwardly
want
saying
this to be casual. So then they're like, oh, okay, I don't want her to think I like her. I don't want her to think that I'm being too forward and I want a relationship. So I'm going to be super casual.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to her.
But aren't all these guys casual that your friend's hooking up with?
But I think it makes it almost more casual, and she gets what she wants because she doesn't feel the need to label it as casual. Like Genevieve said, she's not like going into it being like, so I want to go to dinner with you, but just so you know, it's not a date. And I want to come over and have sex with you, but I still want us to be able to go on dates. Like, it feels like there's just
But do we even know our callers saying doing that?
No, but I mean, it sounds like if there's a switch that happens, it's because she's communicating something. Where would that switch be coming from?
Like,
Their
I
behavior.
just want to be casual.
I read it as soon as she's like, hey, let's go up to your room, and then they hook up, that these men's behavior starts to change, and she feels disrespected. And my guess is it feels transactional, where they went from this guy asking questions, getting to know her, paying an interest, yada, yada. And it's just like, oh, like, what the fuck? Okay. Well, bye, right after sex. It becomes more transactional. It's just a hookup. The effort drops off the cliff. And I guess my response is, before you've communicated your expectations, which sounds like just a hookup, you enjoy the playing house of it all, the pretend date. And the only reason she would enjoy the pretend date, knowing that she herself only wants to have sex, is that pretend date makes her feel better about her choices, which is to just have sex. Because I'm confused based off her letter, what are the guys doing wrong? And that's why I asked, what does she mean by disrespected? Because again, if the guy is in any way talking rude, talking down, condescending, just being generally disrespectful as anyone can be, that's not okay. But if she means their behavior change and I feel disrespected, my guess is it's because she feels it's more, again, transactional, objectified, things like that. It sounds like to me she's judging herself. And the way the change in their behavior, it makes, I guess, to me, it's like, in her mind, she's like, all right, I want to have this like sex summer. And she goes on these dates and these guys are acting like daters would, these potential suitors, which makes her feel like, okay, this is okay, this is acceptable. But as soon as a guy acts like this is transactional, it makes her feel a little dirty. As if like, if a guy like offered her money to have sex, like I don't know how she'd feel about it, but maybe she'd be offended by it. But like, she just wants to have sex, right? Per her email. But that's my point. Like, we can say we want one thing and that might be half true, but sometimes we ignore the cost of the thing we say we want. And then when the cost shows up, sometimes we can get buyer's remorse. And the cost of her going out and having this casual sex is this change in behavior for men when they realize, oh, this isn't a date. This is just a request to hook up. And men and women, when it comes to casual sex, operate very differently. Men are very easily detached from any emotions when it comes to sex. Women less easily. And so I guess I'm just saying, just be more honest with yourself with your intentions. She's having fun. She said that. She's been hooking up. She is having fun. So to me, if she were calling, my advice would be, it sounds like you're just judging yourself a little bit more than you should. Stop judging yourself. These men's behavior that are changing, kind of honestly, it sounds like I would expect that normal. Don't put up with them being rude or treating you poorly and being inconsiderate with your time. But if they just stop getting to know you, well, that's kind of what I would expect. But that's just making you feel a little less than.
Yeah.
And the societal judgment, I think, that women often have to face, the shame of, like, what does it make me feel when I feel objectified? Men don't care if they feel objectified at all, because society doesn't make them feel less about themselves when they are objectified. Society makes women feel that way. And so that's the struggle, I think, it can to be participate in hookup culture. So that's my guess without having talked to her, is don't let society judge you for something that you want to do. It's not the men necessarily doing anything wrong. They're, according to what I'm understanding about the letter, they are acting how most people should act in a strictly hookup situation.
I want an update about Sex Goddess Summer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, after Labor Day, like, how did it go?
Ding
I
dong.
am curious if we're right about this. I'm curious about what she has to say when she hears this.
I'll ask her.
Because I'm curious what she actually means by disrespected, and maybe we're getting that wrong, or she left something out, or maybe she has an aha moment and we nailed it. I don't know. Listen, Sex, like I said, there's a reason why it's complicated and messy, and it has a cost. And hookup culture is not meant for everyone. I don't think it's meant for most of us. Just because you have a good outlook on sex doesn't mean every sexual experience is going to be positive.
A good one.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
There was a TikTok that I made, I think. Did I make it? Did you make it? It was of you talking about like the power of sex and in this age of sex positivity, and it just being like open,
like,
be like,
yeah,
oh,
people
supported.
act like being
people negate that it
sex
has
positive,
power.
that it has no consequence. As long as you're positive about sex, there will be no consequences to sex. That's delusion.
Make it a TikTok.
Yeah.
It is one. It's several. I cut that baby up.
I think I made that one.
That's why I asked.
Oh, while you guys argue about that, just a couple housekeeping notes. We have a great week lined up for you. Well, tonight is the finale of Charity's Love Journey, and we will be breaking it all down tomorrow. Well, I guess we'll just be talking about her and Dotton, because I don't know what the mystery's going to be.
I want nothing more than for her to pick Joey.
Me
just
too.
So
I
you
want to be
lose
wrong.
I know.
You guys
another $50K.
Are you mistaking me as someone who cares if they're wrong predicting the outcome of The Bachelorette?
No, you just got $50K on the line.
Yeah, I know. Fictitious 50K. I would love to be wrong. It would be something to talk about. But, we're going to have a great episode tomorrow. We'll talk, obviously, about the finale. We'll get into other pop culture topics and more. This week on Going Deeper, we have Tamra Judge from Real House of Orange County and Telly Mellencamp, who also used to be in Orange County. Did she not? Or she used to be a housewife. I don't know what housewife she was. It doesn't matter. Tamra comes to the Viall Files. Teddy joins her. It'll be a lot of fun. I feel like it's just going to be messy in the best possible
Messy
way.
or fun? I can't.
Either way,
It's just
it'll
like
be
a
great.
bunch of gals gabbing.
It'll be gabbing. We'll obviously talk about some housewives. We'll talk about some pop culture. We'll talk about being messy, relationships, dating. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? Tamara seems to like to talk shit, and we like that.
And we're going to talk shit with her.
And we're going to talk shit with her. So away we go. Let's get to our callers.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Sydney. I'm 28 years old and I am getting married in 2 months. And my fiance really wants to have kids. And I think I may have changed my mind and do not want them any longer.
Okay, well, that's kind of a big deal. It's what we call a non-negotiable in our world. Do you know you don't want to have kids, or how aware is he of this change of heart in your mind?
He is very aware. So that I've been super open about it. We talk about it a lot. So we got that going for us. And it's not that I don't want them at all. It's just more, I've always been very eager. Like we would joke about yeah, honeymoon baby. And then in the last year or so, I feel like reality hit and I'm just freaking out.
Okay.
So it's not even that it's an absolutely no, but I even feel bad that I'm just even questioning when it was something we were so excited for before.
Well, I mean, don't feel bad. It's your life and you have the right to change your mind. It's also your body, and that's a huge ask of anyone. I wouldn't know, but I've heard it's a big ask.
Heard it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you just freaking out? Is that it? I mean, is this more about, do you think it's your subconscious acting out because, one, you're getting married in 2 months? There's that. Mm-hmm. Any chance you're looking for a way out?
No, I feel super confident about marrying him.
Okay.
That's what frustrates me more because I feel like I have a bad toxic past and I feel like I finally found the good one.
Okay.
So I'm super excited to be with him. So I am an overthinker and a spiraler. So once I get this fear in my mind, I can just kind of stay there. So I think that could definitely be part of it, is just the spiraling and overthinking.
And then you mentioned so you guys joked about having a honeymoon baby. So, because to me that sounds like maybe you're just reacting to the fear of what is presumed to be an expectation in your relationship. And what I mean by that is, if you and your fiance joked about having a honeymoon baby, well, that means you've joked about having a baby incredibly early into your marriage. And now you may not know what you want in terms of motherhood at this point, but it sounds like you are pretty confident in that you're not ready to get pregnant anytime soon. And is it more about that?
Possibly. I did, because when I finally was really open with him about it, and he was great about it and said okay, well, we don't need to do it right away then. And even just that took a lot of the pressure off. But then I feel like I've been just kind of banking on the fact okay, later I'll feel better. But if I don't, that's when I started re-spiraling because I'm I feel like we're both just yeah, she'll feel better later and then it'll happen. But I don't want to do it just to do it because it's a big deal. So yeah, now it's more just the fear of the future and how I'll feel then.
Well, you can't predict the future and you don't know. There's just one reality you need to accept, because this is what I can say with a lot of confidence, that if you get married to this man and his feelings about kids don't change and your feelings about not having kids solidifies, that you'll break up.
Right.
It will be.
And I agree. Like,
it will be
that
the
is
end.
non-negotiable.
It'll be the end of your relationship.
Yes. And that is a terrifying thought. So I talked to him about that recently, like last week, and he was saying like, well, that would never be like a non-negotiable, like it would never be a deal breaker for me if that were the case. And I
He
was
said
like,
that.
yeah, he did say that.
Okay, well, maybe,
Again, it like helped me breathe for a second, but then at the same time, I'm like, but I also don't want to like take that from you. So then it didn't make me feel better much longer. He is very like positive all the time, like very easygoing, thinks everything's going to work out and be great. Like that's just how he lives his life. And I'm more like doom and gloom, half glass empty. Like, so we kind of balance each other a little bit. But for this, I'm like, I feel like he's just like, it's going to be great. And I'm like, well, what if it's not? Is where we're at.
I mean, I'm not a therapist, obviously, but
yeah,
our subconscious brain is very powerful, and it reacts. I think your subconscious brain can be reacting to situations. I don't think this means you're looking for a way out, but it could be your body having anxiety about the expectation of marriage and what it all means and what it means for you, and just generally it limiting your options. It's very finite. That's the idea of marriage, at least, and are you trying to pull coals in an otherwise great situation because you just have a history of looking for the drama?
That is my past, is drama.
Well, it's good to recognize. I mean, I said this. I don't know.
That is where I come from.
Yeah, I think the better my life has gotten for a lot of reasons, but my relationships have become healthier. Reflecting back, realizing that I sought out less drama. There's a lot of reasons why my relationships didn't work out. But if I was looking at the role I played, we all love drama, all of us, so much.
Yep.
It's entertaining. It's something to do. It keeps us in the loop, And when we think of ourselves as the main character in our story, regardless of what happens to us, we want to justify our actions. We want to have people sympathize with our plights, and that creates a lot of drama, and maybe you're just used to that. And maybe that's your default. And you have an otherwise seemingly healthy relationship, and there's nothing really to pull holes in, and that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was for you, like up until this relationship, it was just always toxicity. Always, I'm very comfortable and happy with where I'm at with this one because I feel like I have grown a lot in the last few years. Whereas a few years ago, I wouldn't have been ready for him because he's just not what I was doing before. So I feel very, very content with him. And it's almost like I didn't like my life at all before, like for most of my life, didn't really enjoy it. And then the last few years, I feel like I really love my life and I love my life with him. So I feel like it's almost the fear of like, I don't want anything to change what we have right now kind of thing. So it's almost more of like the opposite. Like I am so content and I just don't want to mess it up.
Your life's going to change regardless of whether you want to or not. The question is, will you guys change together? Mm-hmm. And you have to be flexible and fluid in your life and in your relationships. So you can't control, not to burst your bubble, your and your fiance's and future husband's life changing. Your life is going to change. I don't know how it's going to change. I don't know if kids will be involved. I don't know if job factors will be a consideration. But life is going to happen. You're just going to experience ups and downs. And as we get older, like life gets more real, like shit's just going to happen. Your life is going to change. So just accept that reality. And then kids, you'll have to decide for yourself. The good news is you've communicated with your fiance your reservations. It sounds like you have a guy who seems to do a good job of balancing you out, who maybe kind of recognizes your tendency of thinking of worst case and ruminating and kind of thinking about the potential drama in any one situation. And it sounds like you found someone who's pretty good at not giving in to the drama, which seems in your case something you appreciate.
Yeah.
That's the good news. I mean, to me, it comes across as maybe just kind of 2-month wedding reluctance and things like that, and you trying to poke holes in things, and not that you're looking for a way out, but this is a way of almost testing him in a way to make sure that he accepts you for who you are, because that's the thing about marriage. Hey, it's one thing to be like, hey, do you want to be my boyfriend? Do you want to be my girlfriend? Hey, it's like, let's get engaged. Great. But like, let's get married now. Like, shit's getting real. You know, it's one thing to get in a relationship and pretend that they love you for who you are, or even to get engaged to pretend that they love you for who you are. But once you get married, you better make sure they love you for who you are. And we all know that, but maybe this is your subconscious kind of projecting a fear of, does my fiance really love me for who I am? Does he really know who I am? You know?
Yeah.
And if he learns of who I really am, will he still love me? And I feel like, I wonder, and I don't know, but I wonder if maybe this is that part of your body that is just wondering if he really accepts you for who you are, and that fear of finality when it comes to a wedding, and making sure that he does, because, hey, now is the time to let me know that, like, hey, what if I don't want to have kids? Well, will you break up with me then? And here he is saying, hey, that won't be a non-negotiable for me. That's a tough question for him to answer. But
yeah,
my guess is it'll work itself out,
Yeah.
It sounds like you're still open to it.
I am. I think it'd be a lot different if I was like, absolutely not. And he was absolutely yes, like that. You can't really, there's nowhere to meet.
Yeah, there's a big difference between saying, yeah, I never want to have kids versus, whoa, I'm just getting married. I know we talked/joked about having kids per early, but like, whoa, life comes at you fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still really young, and I don't know if I'm ready to have kids yet. Like, is that okay for me to say? Which is totally okay for you to say. And I feel that's more your truth rather than I don't want to have kids anymore.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially, I live in the Midwest, and at 28, I am like more of a rarity for not being married and having kids yet, which is crazy, but true. And so it just feels like there's like added pressure just from like environment and family and all of that. So there's just a lot I haven't done that I want to do. And then I've like kicked myself for not doing it yet, but I'm like, I still can.
So have you had those conversations with your fiance?
Yeah. And he knows like I haven't even been out of the country yet. So we're doing that for our honeymoon, and I want to do more traveling and experiences like that. So not that like your life ends when you have kids, but it changes. So
the only advice I have for you is when you get off the phone with me, next time you see your husband, give him a big hug and a kiss and just say, hey, I just want to say thank you for being so supportive and allowing me to express like any fears and insecurities I have. I know like, when it comes to the kids, I think I've psyched myself out, but like, thank you for being someone who makes me feel like I can share my hopes and dreams with and helps me want to live those. Obviously, I'm so excited about our life together. And, there's a lot of things I think more than anything, I just know there's a lot of things I want to do with us before we start a family. And I'm really excited to do that. So can we commit to each other within the first year, especially or first years of our marriage, to try to check some things off our bucket lists? Ask him about things he wants to check off. So it's not just about your list. What are things you guys want to do together? And just show him that appreciation for what he already has done, and then kind of reinforce what you hope to have in the future, rather than psych yourself out about like things you're not sure if you're not going to want. Because this is more about you making sure that you can live a fulfilling life, and that marriage isn't the handcuffs you fear it might be, but rather, solidifying a relationship with someone who wants to support you in all aspects of your life.
I agree. And what you were saying before about it, like maybe a subconscious thing about making sure he like fully loves me or loves me enough or whatever. I think that was kind of that gave me something to think about too, because that has been a struggle of mine. I think I went for more toxic before because that's kind of how I saw myself, and thought that's what I deserved. And so for him, I think I probably wouldn't have admitted that before this call, but I feel like I still kind of question if I'm like deserving of someone as good as him. So I think that could be me kind of you were on to something there potentially.
And that's okay to acknowledge, you know,
Yeah.
but you certainly do. And he loves you for who, you know, he wouldn't be getting engaged to you unless he thought that. He sees obviously the good in you. And like, it's always nice to show appreciation to your partner. If you do feel like you are, you know, there's a lot of good in him, just make him feel appreciative of that. Hey, thanks for being this type of person. I just want to, again, thank you for being different than every other guy I've ever been with. Thank you for making me feel this way and not that way, you know, and things like that. And I'm so excited about things. And more importantly, thank you for letting me come to you with like any insecurities and fears that I have and allowing me to talk with you about them, you know, and then, set new expectations. Instead of joking about having kids on your honeymoon, just say, hey, like, can we focus on, you know, 3 or 4 goals that we have in the next year, you know, and then we'll see where it goes. But instead of worrying about your fears and the drama of the worst case, think about potential solutions with your partner. You know, that's what he's there for.
Makes a lot of sense.
I don't know if you've heard of foreboding joy, but it's a term used to describe that feeling of like the other shoe has to drop. Like it can't like it can't be that possibly be this good. Like something must be wrong. Like the second I let myself be happy, I'm going to be crushed by disappointment. And like just hearing that term and being like, oh my God, like this is putting into words this thing that like is like sometimes like looming in my brain was really, really helpful. And something like, you know, Brene Brown says is like the biggest thing you can do to remedy that is like gratitude, because it is so natural to be like, well, I feel like I'm flying so high right now that like falling would be so painful. And like, it's like a fact of life. It's like the happier you let yourself be, the more you can feel blindsided. And that's like really scary. But in order to not rob yourself of that joy, like trying to just be like, sometimes I'll just be like 3 things I'm grateful for. Like when I feel myself getting really anxious, and as much as it seems like very like simple and stupid, I found it really, really helpful when I am getting a little like caught up in this thought spiral of it all.
Yeah, no, I think that would be super helpful for me.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. You know, list of all the things that you're grateful for in this relationship going forward. And it takes humility to question, you know, whether you're worthy of something. So you have that humility, but he proposed to you for a reason, you know? Yeah, we do that. We test our partners all the time. And, you know, like I feel ugly today, you know, because we all fish sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
It's human nature. But what do I know? But I'm less worried about this not wanting to have kids. I'm just getting a sense that it's more of a, maybe you're just not ready yet. And that's normal. And that's totally understandable and valid. And, you know, societal pressures, I get the Midwest, but all that, like, now is a good time to remind yourself what really matters. As long as you two are on the same page, it doesn't really matter about mom or dad or the in-laws or friends. It really just comes down to you guys being connected on the same page.
Yeah.
And I would just focus on that, you know, and everything else is just drama, you know, and drama can have the appearance of fun and something to do, but
there's also no better feeling than when someone's like receiving your love. Like it feels so amazing when I like know that my partner is like appreciating and receiving that. And so like another way to kind of like frame it in your brain is like, it would be like, he would be thrilled and over the moon if you could talk yourself off the ledge sometimes and be like, he loves me so much. And I'm not going to like let these little like anxieties take away from the way that he like shows up for me as a partner. And I'm doing this for him and for our relationship. I'm believing in it and I'm like trusting in it.
Yeah. Yeah. He deserves that. He's literally never given me any reason to doubt. It's just what I'm good at.
Yeah. The body keeps the score.
Yeah. That's your body kind of has a memory of the whatever pain you experienced, and it's a way of protecting yourself. You know, it's either fight or flight. Right now, you're leaning towards the flight. When it comes to your anxiety, you're probably that's creeping up on your relationship, but it's normal, so that should make you feel better. You're not the only one who does shit like this. Just the trick is not to give in, and you know, I think you're in good shape.
It'll be okay.
All right. Well, I don't know if there's anything to keep us posted on. I mean, obviously, if you guys have kids or not have kids, let us know. Maybe
name it Nick.
Check in with us after your marriage. I would love that. Check in, after the wedding day, 2 months from now, and just give us an update, assuming you go through with it. But I'm assuming you will.
Yeah. I feel good about that.
Great. Give him a big hug today, and just thank him for being who he is and how appreciative you are. But he's with you for a reason, you know?
It makes a lot of sense.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you
bye-bye.
guys.
Thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this show. This show was brought to you by BetterHelp. Therapy, mental health, super important. Obviously, on this show, we want you to prioritize your mental health. And for those of you who are, congratulations. For those of you who have thought about doing it and they're just kind of worried about, who do I go to? I don't know if I should do it. BetterHelp is there to make that kind of launching pad of getting into taking care of your mental health super easy. They're working with so many therapists that the chances of you finding a therapist that you like, that you feel comfortable, are incredibly high. And it's convenient because it's you using your phone, your tablet, your computer, the comfort of your home. And if you want to do it from a video standpoint, you can. If you want to do it voice to voice, you can do it as well. The thing about BetterHelp is they want you to get into therapy fast. Chances are you've been thinking about doing therapy for a while and you've made a bunch of excuses as to why maybe now's not the right time to do therapy or prioritize your mental health. Maybe you've thought of excuses like the cost, which are valid at times, or I can't find a therapist, which again are valid. But when it comes to BetterHelp, it's far more affordable than in-person therapy, and they're working with so many therapists that they will work with you to find the therapist that's right for you. If you try someone out and you don't vibe out, that's okay. You just get someone new. It's super easy to just go. You just go to betterhelp.com. You take a quick assessment about what you're looking for, and they will work with you to find a therapist. You could be talking to a therapist in less than 48 hours. Bam. Try it out. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/VIALL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/VIALL. BetterHelp.com for 10% off your first month. Again, BetterHelp.com/VIALL. Grammarly! All you busy people out there that don't know or don't have the time to proofread, well, there's Grammarly. Grammarly has been saving my day. I don't want people to think I'm a dum-dum because I don't know how to proofread an email, or I don't know the difference between they or their or they are or whatever. Grammarly handles that all. They have great tone recognition to make sure that the tone in which you want to send your emails are the tone in which people are receiving it. Your grammar, your spelling, they're making it so much easier to make sure that you are efficiently getting your message across with the people you needed to get it across to.
Also with Grammarly Go. So Grammarly has been powered by AI technology that you can trust and rely on for over 10 years. And now with Grammarly Go, it helps you do even more. So with one click, you can easily brainstorm, rewrite, and reply quickly with suggestions based on your context and goals. So that's really helpful for us here because, for example, we can say, give me 10 possible taglines for a video thumbnail. Improve this. Shorten it if we want to evaluate our writing. If you need to get through your emails quicker, Grammarly can help summarize your emails and provide suggestions on how to reply in seconds. Boom. It is a personal assistant in your pocket.
You'll be amazed at what you can do with Grammarly. Go to Grammarly.com/go to download for free today. That's GRAMMARLY.com/go. That's Grammarly.com/go. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good. My name is Andy, and I am 28 years old.
How can we help, Andy?
I'm in my first serious adult relationship, and things are moving pretty quickly. We're thinking about moving in together, and I'm just not sure about it all. Pretty nervous.
Okay. All right. How long have you been dating?
We've only been together for about 6 months, so it's all like really fresh and really new, and moving in seems like a big step right now.
Yeah. Well, trust your gut. Why are you moving in together?
Yeah, so there's kind of like external circumstances for both of us that have just like pushed us to this decision. So for me, I have kind of been nomadic for the last few years, kind of all over the place. And I haven't really had a good living situation in a really long time, especially now I have some crazy roommates. I live in a basement and it's just not great. And then for my boyfriend, who is 30, this is not his first serious relationship. He's actually had a girlfriend live in with him before. But for him, his current roommate is moving out, and he wants to make sure that he's not going to like take the loss on the finances because he actually owns the house.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that honest answer.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a book, shameless plug, but chapter 8 is moving in together.
Oh.
And it starts by saying there are only 2 good reasons to move in together. Number 1, you're married, engaged to be married, or have made some other long-term commitment to one another. So you would not fall into that category.
I would counter a little bit there. I would say that the long-term commitment is something that we're both very interested in. And I've never been in a relationship like this before. I've never had these serious of feelings. So I'm hoping that we have a long-term commitment, but 6 months just feels a little quick.
Love that you're hoping for it, but I guess this doesn't say hoping for a long-term committed relationship. This would be more under like the people who like don't necessarily believe in marriage, but are just like decided to be life partners. And they're just like, they are just, we are each other's person, you know?
Right.
And who knows, maybe I'm fucking wrong, but in this book.
Well, nobody knows yet.
Yeah.
We're only 6 months in. That's why.
But I feel strongly about these rules. These are my rules, but I wouldn't put you in number one. Number two, you're in a committed relationship. Okay, you've qualified there. You're in a committed relationship. And you both mutually decided that you want to move in together because you want to spend as much time as possible with one another. That's it. Emphasis on mutual. And then I go on to explain a bunch of reasons why not to. These are not good reasons to move in with your partner. I go into some detail. I'm gonna spare you the the details. But number one, you think it's a test to see what it would be like to be married to that person. Not a good reason. Number two, you like them better than your roommate, and you can't afford to live on your own. Number three, you want to settle down, but your partner hasn't asked you to get married yet, so you think that moving in is a good compromise. That's not you. 4, you feel like you two are growing apart, and moving in will force you to face your issues. Number 5, you're bored. Number 6, you hate deciding or even fighting over whose house to spend more time in. So anyway, you have a couple of these, but this is all to say it doesn't sound like you qualify for any of those two. You have reluctance, and that's important, I guess is what I'm saying. It's really important that you listen to your gut, because when you were explaining why you two are moving in, there was a lot of like ancillary reasons. Oh, he owns his house, roommate situation. There's a lot of logistics, right?
Right.
And it could seem like your relationship is here to save the day. It's just like, oh, well, I have a girlfriend who I like spending time with, and I have a boyfriend who I like spending time with. And, his situation with his roommate isn't ideal. Well, I can fit in and help there. But that's not about your relationship. But it's
convenience almost.
It's not for the relationship,
Right. But I mean, it would be definitely for the relationship. Like, I think there would be a lot of bonuses to it. And we're both very excited. I think the big concern is just about optics. Like, we're worried what our friends are going to think if we're moving in this quickly. Our parents are super supportive, but it's kind of like, oh, is it too soon? Because it's only 6 months. And I try to remember like everybody's on their own path, but I'm worried about the optics of it a little bit.
If I wrote a chapter on things you shouldn't worry about, would be optics. As long as you don't give optics credit. Like, if you always worry about what people think, then I guess you need to consider that. But like, ultimately, you're not doing yourself any good. I mean, 6 months isn't a crazy short amount of time. You're not like, people have moved in faster. Feels fast for you. Okay. Obviously, it's your first serious relationship.
It feels fast for me.
Then that's important for you to trust your gut, right? And as much as you guys are both excited, I'm hearing that you might not have chosen this if other things were in consideration, like maybe his roommate situation was a different situation. I would have loved to hear that the reason we're moving in together is because we just fucking want to. And there's a lot of reasons why we should, and we're going to have to ask his roommate to move out, and that's going to be kind of an uncomfortable conversation. But at the end of the day, we just want to live together. We love each other. We love spending time together. It's what we love. And I just want to be around him. And I want to hear the same from him. Like, that should be the reason.
Yeah. And I think I think we're both just reluctant to say that because it is so soon. But I definitely feel that. I know he feels that too. And I think we're just super concerned about, at least for me, it's like, I've never had a serious relationship like this before. I've never lived with a partner. So I just really don't know in general what to expect. And like, also because it's his house that he owns. So it's like, he's now my landlord. Like, that's just a lot to reckon with.
So there's a lot of things you could and should do. I want to see chapter 8, pay attention. There's other things, you could do. There's a whole chapter in my book. I don't want to try to sell my book here. Things you should do before moving in together. Acknowledge the coming change. Empathize with your partner. Acknowledge the coming change means like sitting down and talking about how is moving in together going to change our dynamic, because it will change.
Yeah.
You will constantly be around each other. Consider your future alone time would be another one, right?
Right.
It sometimes
this is one thing I wanted your take on.
Okay.
Was my like one big thing that I wanted upon moving in that I was like not going to budge on was I need my own room. I need my own space in his house. I need my own room somewhere I can go. And he's kind of like, why do you need that? It's like, it's not like I'm not going to sleep with you in your bed every night, but I need some me space.
Yeah. Fair ask. why do you need that? Listen, like, I think he's making probably the mistake of thinking, well, we're in love and there's nothing bad about moving in together. He's like oversimplifying the move. To your point, it's just like, I don't know, because I feel like I do. Because
I have a lot of clothes that I need to put in a closet.
or we'll just always be around each other, you know? Like, the amount of time you spend with each other is going to drastically change. Even if you already feel like you constantly spend all your time together, it's going to ramp up a ton more.
Okay.
You know? Because, like, they are also your roommate. And then discussing, you know, finances, a big step, power dynamic, you know? Like, what's his earning? What does he make the same as you? Does he make a lot more than you? Is this the type of place that you would move into if you weren't dating him? You know, for example, if you're paying, let's say, $1,000 a month for rent, and half of his rent is $3,000 a month, maybe it is fair for you to split it. But maybe he's making 4 times as much as you, and you wouldn't otherwise live there if he didn't want you to move in with him. Like, these are all. There's no right or wrong answer, but they are worthy of a conversation. And the important thing is you guys are just on the same page. And if it gets contentious early on, maybe that's a sign of like, hey, maybe we're just not ready to move in, because clearly we're not on the same page with some of these conversations. And it doesn't mean we're not in love, and it doesn't mean we won't get there. But maybe it just means that right now, 6 months in, we still have more learning to get to know about each other. You know, 6 months isn't a great deal of time, and you just have more to learn. I hope you guys have more to learn about each other. I hope that you can't learn everything there is to learn about each other in 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Right?
Right, and that's why I'm like, this is really quick, especially because I've never had a relationship like this before.
I would just continue to trust and calmly bring up things like, these are things I think we should talk about. And is he willing to calmly say, okay, yeah, let's talk about it? Yeah. And not get defensive.
We did sit down and we talked. Yeah. We put forward I said what my biggest worries were, and he said what his biggest worries were. We sort of talked about that. It was interesting because we had different concerns.
That's not.
He was worried about not getting enough of like time him with his friends, because I'm a very social person. I play sports, so I'm on a sports team, so I have a lot of me time with my friends. And he's not sure how he's going to get it. And then my concern was like, if we're roommates, are we going to stop being lovers? Like, are we not going to, like, we need to make sure we still have time to go on dates and like stuff like that. Do you have any advice about that? Like, after you move in, like how to make sure you still keep the like relationship datey part?
I think at the end of the day, whatever you prioritize will be. If you make it a priority, you'll make it a priority. You know, if it's a priority for you guys to stay connected and, you know, stay lovers and not roommates, don't treat them like just your roommate. And again, like, you know, everyone poops, but like, it doesn't mean as soon as you live with someone that you like show them your most disgusting habits and, you know, and things like that, you know, eventually you're just going to become familiar with each other, but it doesn't mean you have to like embrace it per se. As long as you guys communicate and are willing to bring up concerns and fears and just acknowledge it. Hey, it is fast to move in with each other. People have done it, you know. Nally and I moved in much faster than 6 months. You know, there were a lot of things that when we moved in with each other, we acknowledged these are the risks we're taking. You know, these are the things that we're going to have to address. These are the things that might come up. Some of those actually came up. Some of them didn't. But we weren't afraid. We didn't pretend that everything was rainbows and sunshines. We didn't pretend that we weren't trying to be the exception of the rule. The exception of the rule being moving in maybe quicker than you otherwise should.
Some of our friends,
or what, you know.
Yeah, and like that's a big thing. Yeah, some of our friends are moving in together. They've been together for a couple of years, and we're like, oh, we're not there yet.
Everyone moves at a different pace. Yeah, and I don't care about optics, you know. And I think whatever you make a priority will be a priority in your relationship. So if you prioritize staying connected, then you'll stay connected. But a lot of people don't prioritize that. They just assume it. They just assume that they're my boyfriend or girlfriend, we'll be connected. Or they assume that moving in together will be some sort of magic potion of making you reconnect, which isn't the case. Or they assume money problems won't ever be an issue, or that's too awkward to bring up. So whatever your concerns are, if you two are willing to say, all right, acknowledge that this is a big step in any relationship. So obviously it's a big step in your relationship. And again, I think the biggest thing is acknowledge the coming change. What are the potential things that could change? You can't predict the future, so you might not get everything right, but it's good to talk about the potential change. And it is important to like have your free time. It is important to have your space. You may find that you have a room for you and you may not use it that way, but you just say, hey, I'm pretty good at being alone. So like, I don't know how I'm going to feel with you there, but I think it would help me out to just have this space for me. Also, there's a lot of couples
and being a little bit more flexible too.
Yeah. And there's a lot of couples who like, weirdly, like, well, if they live together, they feel like they have to watch all the programs together. It's just like, I don't really like that show. Or like, and then they make their girlfriends like watch sports, or they make their boyfriends watch like some sort of reality TV show. If you like the same programming, watch the same programming. But don't be afraid to have like 2 TVs, and don't be afraid to like have you go watch your shit while he's doing something else. Like some couples are afraid to do things.
I need my room just so I can get stoned and watch Drag Race by myself.
There
you know
you go.
What I mean? Like that's what it's for.
Yeah. And that's okay. You know, so you don't want to lose completely who you are. So maintaining a sense of independence is a huge and important thing when moving in with someone. Because unless you talk about it and unless you make it a priority, it might not be a priority for the relationship. I think that's the biggest thing. And like, listen, my one bit of advice for you is stop telling yourself you're new to this. You know, I think
I'm
you're
ready for this.
You're selling, you're selling yourself short. I don't care if it's your first relationship. Like, there's plenty of people who've been in their 4th relationship who still get the same shit wrong. You know, so don't doubt yourself and don't, you know, take away whatever credibility you have. Like, you seem like, I don't know, you're doing a lot of things right, you know, so regardless of your first relationship, you're checking in, you're having conversations, you're maintaining your independence. These are all great things. I don't know if this relationship is going to work out, and neither do you. And I don't think if it doesn't work out, I doubt it's going to be like because it's your first one. You have 6 months of like solid experience when it comes to having a partner.
Right. And like a really healthy, like really good relationship too, which is like something I've never seen.
Are you less prepared because you didn't have 3 toxic relationships when you were 20 and 21? You know, like
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
You know,
I mean, I did. I just didn't call him serious.
Well, there you go. So
I was the fuck boy.
Yeah. So stop selling yourself short. You have plenty of experience, and just keep trusting your gut. It sounds like your gut is steering you in the right direction.
And also, maybe I think it's really worth thinking about like differentiating between optics and like friends' opinions and expressing concern and love. Cause like, I feel like even with like your good friends, like you kind of know if like maybe they're like a little bit jealous or they're a little cranky or they're pissed off that it took them 3 years for their goddamn boyfriend to finally agree to move in. And so they're like, 6 months is quick. And then you know the difference between that and a friend being like, whoa, like, do you feel good about this? And so I think like also trusting your gut, adding that to the list of things to trust your gut of like knowing the difference between like genuine concern that's coming from a place of like love and prioritizing you versus like, you know, all the bullshit, the optics, the whatnot.
That's a really good point because that's exactly what you described as our friends that took a long time to move in together, kind of the ones that I was a little worried about judging us. Whereas like both of our moms are wicked supportive of us moving in together. Like they're all on board. So it just like, it's really about what's the perspective that they're coming from too.
As long as you're both mutually excited, that's all that really matters. You know,
and we're super excited, but I think with a healthy dose of like a little bit of nervous energy too.
But that's fine. You know, because if you're excited, then that means you'll make it a priority and you'll do the things that you need to do to make it work. And as long as you realize that moving isn't some sort of magic pill to save a relationship or some sort of preview to know what they're going to be like in a marriage, you know, like, sure.
That's the other thing is I'm like, is this like the preview? Is this the preview? Is this it for me? Like, I don't know. It's just scary, but I mean, I think I'm ready.
There's plenty of people who've moved in with people and broken up. So like breaking a lease isn't that hard to do. It's just not.
It's like on the
list.
list.
I won't have a lease. I refuse to ever sign a lease. So.
Oh yeah, you'll just move out of his house and.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing is I have nothing to lose really because if it doesn't work out, I just am. But I'm not thinking about that. Don't worry, I'm not thinking about that. I don't have an escape plan.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it being realistic.
Yeah.
You're not married. You're not engaged. There's a difference between like having an out plan and just saying, hey, listen, we're not married. Or just telling yourself that. Yeah. And you're with them because you choose to be, not because you're stuck.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of perspective.
It's a great choice.
Yeah. So just keep trusting your gut.
Cool.
Don't be afraid to have those honest conversations. There's no right or wrong per se. There's no definite way to do that, you know?
I think it's so awesome that you called in because I think there's so many times where like people write in who haven't been in a serious relationship and are so scared that they've like missed the boat or that there's some like prerequisite training. But like Nick said, like a toxic relationship when you're 21 like doesn't denote success. And the fact that you are like in this relationship and you seem so happy and healthy and you're thinking through the choices and he was willing to talk through this on a podcast with you is also a green flag. So like I'm so happy for you, and I also hope that like the people listening, like I think you'll hopefully be like a real like beacon of like it's okay if like your love life isn't working out the way you wanted to. It's not too late. You haven't like missed the boat because you're not dating in your earlier mid-20s. Like this is awesome.
Yeah. Okay. That makes me feel good. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, well, we love that. Well, when you call in for an update to let us know how
Yeah.
you guys are doing, you can call in then and you can kind of give us an update on what's worked or what hasn't worked.
Right.
You know, this is a very common question. People often get
Okay.
the moving in process wrong. And then when they do, like, you know, it's easy to overreact. Listen, and also just know when you move in, there's going to be an adjustment period, you know? So don't psych
Yeah.
yourself out over like new nerves, you know? You might
Okay.
feel a little overwhelmed. You might feel a little lonely, right? You might feel like, oh, well, I'm with them all the time. Well, why do I feel lonely? Because they're busy and there's a presumption of having them around all the time. So just in the first couple months, don't overreact to any one feeling, you know?
Okay, that's really good
Because
advice.
it is an adjustment.
I catastrophize.
Yeah. So just it's gonna feel different, and there will be some great times too. But like, don't psych yourself out if it's like
Okay.
you know, if it just kind of feels as less glamorous than
Like
you
growing
hope.
pain.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's normal because they're just always fucking there, you know. Because even in situations where you have two people who are in a serious relationship and they spend all their time at one person's house. It's just not the same, because just knowing you have a place to go to when you get sick of each other, even if you never use it, is like a sense of freedom. And just knowing that, like, you know, for the people, and if they're at your house, it still feels like your place. Also, you guys are going to be combining things. Both of you want it to feel like your place. Now, you're moving into his place. So that's more making sure that he is aware that, you know, just because he owns it, if he really wants to make this a home for both of you, then he needs to be open to allowing you to make it feel like yours.
Right. And that means getting a room for myself and all those things.
Or how you guys decorate it and things like that, having a
Right.
say in that, you know, but at the same time,
And like
like,
having my own friends over, like that's something that's going to be important to me too. Cause I'm a super social person more than him. So
yeah.
like that's another thing is like I want to make sure I still have my friend time, whether that's there or other place. Yeah.
And you're going to be paying rent. So even though it's his place and he owns it, is he going to be okay with him making it feel like it's your place too? Never wait to have these conversations till after you move in. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
You know,
Yep.
A lot of people avoid these conversations. They just, well, you know, our lease was up and like, it just makes sense. So like we should. And that's the conversation.
Yeah, no, I need a little bit more meat than that.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
about
So
it, too.
just talk about all the things that come up and just how you want to feel, you know, ask questions. What's important to you? What do you want to prioritize? And I think you guys will be in good shape.
Okay.
All
Awesome.
right.
That's been super helpful. Thank you.
All right. Well, good luck. Keep us posted.
Will do. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Hey, all you people out there who want to feel like your best self, vitamins are a essential part to just making sure you get the nutrients you need. But if you're like me, you start taking vitamins, then you forget, or then you travel, and then you forget them. You don't have your routines. Care of has been helping me stick on my vitamin game like never before. But more importantly, they are great at just giving you the vitamins that you need. Everyone's created differently. A subscription service that ships high-quality personalized vitamins and supplements and powders conveniently to your doorstep every month. Care of also helps track your wellness progress through their thoughtfully designed companion app. Health should be personal, and Care of helps take the guesswork out of what your supplements are best suited for you and your goals.
I took one of my little Care of packets yesterday, and I love how convenient it is because I don't have to open a bunch of different bottles. I can just take one out of the little stack of them. They have cute little quotes and like inspirational things on the packets. It's great for traveling. I wasn't home this weekend, so just grab one. I'm ready to go. And also what I love about it is they do vitamins, they do supplements, they also do powders. So when you take that quiz up front, they're going to evaluate what your current diet is. If you feel like you're lacking things, they have things like collagen powder, protein powder, anything to really round out your full nutritional and health experience. So I love that all of it can just be shipped to me. It's super easy because let's be honest, you don't want to have to like walk to the pharmacy or find new pills if one runs out. You just want to grab it and go. And that's how you stay consistent. And consistency is key.
For 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code VIALL50. That's right. That's takecareof.com. Enter code VIALL50. Again, for 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code VIALL50.
Genevieve, did you know that an estimated 5 billion plastic hand soap and cleaning bottles are thrown away each year? And if that's not bad enough, most cleaning formulas are 90% water, which is heavy to ship, leading to excessive carbon emissions. Plus, those products are often filled with nasty ingredients like chlorine and ammonia. That is a lose-lose situation for you and the planet. You know who's fixing that? Blue Land. Blue Land ships to your door. You can get their starter pack, and they come with refillable bottles, reusable bottles, and then you take the tablets of soap, of cleaning product. They have different ones. They have a multi-purpose cleaner. They have a bathroom cleaner. They have a glass and mirror cleaner. They have a hand soap. You just put the little tablet in there and you add your own water because you already have that. And then you watch it fizz up, mix together, and now you have a whole array of cleaning products that look beautiful on your countertop, and they're good for the environment. And then let's say you run out. Never fear. You can call and get new tablets shipped to your door. Add more water. You're off to the races. Never worry about you or the planet ever again. Don't you dare.
Just fill your bottles with water, drop in the tablets, and wait for them to dissolve. Wow, it's like a science experiment. You'll never have to grab bulky cleaning supplies on your grocery run ever again. Refills start at just $2.25. What a bargain. You can even set up a subscription or buy in bulk for additional savings. Blue Land has a special offer for our listeners. That's right. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/VIALL. You won't want to miss this. Blueland.com/VIALL for 15% off. That's blueland.com/VIALL to get 15% off. How's it going?
Hi, my name's Haley, and I'm 23 years old.
How can we help, Haley?
I'm trying to save my parents' marriage and my family dynamic right now.
All right. Well, that's an uphill battle just because you're not in the marriage or the relationship, which I'm assuming feels very helpless for you, it being your parents. But why do you even feel like you are in a position to save it?
I kind of got put into the situation by my mom, bringing up everything that's been going on with them. And so I feel like since I know all the details and both of my parents are kind of not communicating, that it's about time enough has happened where I can step in and say something.
Why are they getting a divorce?
So it's to be determined if they're getting a divorce right now.
Why is it on the table?
What originally happened was my mom found out last year that my dad was having an affair.
Okay.
And my dad basically, he refuses to go to therapy. So we've asked him. And right now, the problem is my mom tells me kind of everything that's going on and my sisters a little bit. And my dad talks about nothing. Like he acts like everything's fine. They're living in the same house right now, but they're separated. She's brought up the word divorce, even though she's the one that doesn't want one. And he always says, I don't want to get divorced. So we're in a weird situation where they're separated right now.
Who do you think is fighting for the relationship more?
My mom, for sure.
For sure.
Well, she's the one that talks about it the most. My dad he's in that place right now where when people are around, he acts like everything's great. And then, behind closed doors, when we're at home, they argue a lot. He doesn't like to talk about anything related to their relationship, but refuses to move out of the house or take any steps they're just in this stagnant place right now. So it's weird for me and my sisters. It's weird for my mom.
Who lives at home?
And I'm sure it's weird for him too. My little sister.
How old is she?
She's 18. She's about to go to college though here in a month. So she'll be able to get out of that situation. It's been since last year that everything kind of went crazy. Their marriage though, our whole lives was great. That I would say that I looked up to them. It made me have something to look forward to in my relationships. That's why it's kind of strange that
But I
we're
mean,
dealing
for all
with
you
this
know, that it had
right
the
now.
perception of greatness rather than greatness itself.
True. Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of parents, and rightfully so, decide to like, hey, we're not going to fight in front of our kids, which I actually think is a great quality. You know, whatever problems you do have, you don't need to involve the kids in it. You kind of you present yourself as a united front to your children, but like, you know, every relationship has its problems, and you know, so again, maybe it was the perception of greatness. That's the hard part, I think, when doing that is like, you know, if things don't end well, it can seem like more of a surprise to like people like yourself being like, oh my God, I thought everything was amazing. Coming to find out, it's like, hey, listen, we just kind of didn't tell you kids everything because obviously we didn't want to burden you with the struggles that we had while we were raising you guys. And as an adult, I think that can be hard to accept. But also, the affair, is it definitely not happening anymore? Did it stop? How did it stop? Do we know that he's not doing this at all?
We don't know. I'm assuming they might still be in communication, but his behavior is a lot different than when we found out that it was for sure going on. So he
What do you mean?
He was a lot more sneakier. He was changing passwords to like our family Apple ID, just being shady in different ways, and traveling a lot. Now he's kind of he's been home more. He's around more with my mom. Like we're going to family dinners and stuff, and they're planning things like they're going to have a Halloween party in October, but she made a comment that she was going to move out of the house in November. So I don't really know.
Your mom is probably just saying things to try to get a reaction out of him because this is a man who isn't reacting to anything. And so that must drive your mom nuts, is my guess. What's your relationship with your dad?
Yeah, I'm really close with my dad. I'd say that his relationship with us kids is not tainted at all.
And how much have you been protecting that relationship? I guess what I'm saying is, how honest have you been with your father? Or how unhonest have you been for the sake of not trying to ruffle the relationship you have with him?
Well, last year, before my mom ever told me that he was having an affair, I actually accused him one night of it, just because my intuition was telling me something. And I asked him up front, I said, you know, did you cheat on my mom? And we got into a huge argument. And then after that, I just kind of never brought it up to him again. And we talk more in terms of what's going on in my life and his life. And none of it revolves around my mom anymore. But the problem is with my mom is every single conversation she has with me is about him. Even if I give her the boundaries of, I don't want to talk about him, you know, it somehow gets there. Recently, kind of the reason that it kind of came back up that I wanted to talk to you was my mom went to his side of the family's, like it was a kid's birthday. He didn't go. And she kind of started yelling at people or snapping at them. Somebody made a comment about divorce, like a joke between her and her husband. And my mom snapped at her and was like, don't use that word, like stop saying it. It's not funny. And I guess she had said a couple other things to some other people there. I wasn't there myself, but my cousin called me. And she's projected a couple times towards me and my relationship, trying to tell me how to do things or talk to my boyfriend. So she's projecting now, and I feel like her sadness has turned into anger. Yeah. And with him, he, you know, like I said, he doesn't talk about anything. So I don't know where to navigate now, because I don't want her to keep going downhill and making other people in her life that she loves hurt, you know?
Yeah. So you originally called in, you said, save your parents' relationship, or if there's anything you can do. From where I stand, you're not doing what you can do. And that is, you're not being honest with your dad and taking advantage of the fact that you have a close relationship with your father, and you're not willing to be the friend he needs right now out of fear of how that could affect your relationship with him. Now, it's not your job. It's like a lot to ask a kid to be the savior of their parents' relationship. But if it is something you want to do, like, that is an option for you, right? I don't think you having surface level conversations about your life and avoiding any real conversations about your dad's choices when the cloud of your dad's choices is hanging over every aspect of his life and your relationship and your mom's life. And I really, honestly, the way you tell this story, I really feel for your mom. Your mom sounds like a prisoner of your dad's kind of emotional stonewalling, and she has nowhere to go and no one to talk to, and she is fighting for this relationship by herself, and almost kind of made out to sound like some crazy lady because she just wants to like make this marriage work and is totally afraid of the prospect of starting over and moving on. And meanwhile, she's been like victimized by this affair, which she doesn't even know if it's still going on, but your dad doesn't want to talk about it or doesn't even acknowledge its existence. And meanwhile, everyone, because it's uncomfy to talk about, just kind of like goes along with not talking about it.
Exactly. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. It's just as hard for us to like, where would I start that conversation? Because he thinks we don't know about the affair.
Well, start there. You sit him down and say, Dad, as you lead with love, I love you, Dad. My relationship with you means so much to me. I'm honored to be your daughter. I don't know, whatever you want to throw out there to make him feel good. But you said, I need to start being honest with you. I love you too much. I respect you. I'm an adult woman. I hope you respect me. And I'm going to start being honest with you. I'm really disappointed in your behavior recently. I know about the affair. I can no longer not speak up. This is affecting my mom. And listen, I want nothing more than you and Mom to work it out. And don't tell me to stay out of it because you're my parents. I can't stay out of it because I see how much Mom's hurting. So do something about it. Leave her. And if you don't leave her, then go to therapy. But you're being a chicken shit. Call him out. And if he doesn't want to deal with his trauma, that's his right. Then you maybe need to have honest conversations with your mom. Hey, Mom, like, how long are you going to live here and allow Dad to like keep you on standby? What are you getting out of this relationship? Like, I don't want you guys to get divorced either, but like, he's not willing to work on this relationship with you. Do you even know if he's still having an affair? And if you want to involve yourself, you have the right, but you might as well start being honest with both of these parents.
I will say I've been pretty honest with my mom. We've been having conversations since last June.
Well, it's even more unfair that you're being honest with Mom, but not being honest with Dad.
Yeah. I agree.
It's like your mom, because she's the only one who wants to talk about it, is being kind of victimized by,
So she's actually the one, because I've made this comment before. I said, I'm about to say something. And more recently I have been. I said, look, you are breaking down all the time still, like you don't know what you're going to do. I said, I'm about to say something to him. And for the longest time it was, don't do anything to upset him. Don't talk to him about this. Don't tell him anything. Don't tell him that I cried today. She was protecting him, and I was trying to protect her in the midst of it. But I think that at this point, you got
to stop doing that. Listen, you don't take notes from either of them. Your mom's not seeing clearly. Either is your dad. Again, I don't think this is your responsibility, but if you want to take up this mantle and you want to fight this fight, you really have to not take sides, and you got to trust your gut, and you have to be just as honest with both of them. And you can say to your dad, I'm an adult, and I hope that you respect that I'm coming to you because of what I've witnessed. And if you go back to Mom and blame her for anything I'm coming to you, that will affect our relationship. You just got to hold your dad accountable. And the more calm you can be, and the more kind of standing in your power you can be, your dad's probably going to throw a temper tantrum, and he's going to probably say a bunch of shit. And the idea that his daughter is holding him accountable will probably throw him for a loop. But, he's acting like a child, and hit him with some shame. I'm really disappointed in you. Are you treating Mom the way you would want a guy to treat me? are you acting in a way that you would want me to act? Would you be proud of me if I did the same things you did? I know therapy can be scary, but did you raise me to avoid, facing challenges, or did you raise me to attack challenges head on? So why aren't you doing something about the way your actions are affecting this family? You hit them with some directness. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to name call them, but you just be honest,
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just scary talking to him
for
some
sure.
reason other
Hell
than
yeah.
my mom.
Sure.
Because he's always been the optimist. And I think that's why his whole avoidant thing works for him. Because he wants to be happy-go-lucky all the time. But he's the one choosing to, they're his actions. And that's what I've told my mom is, because she likes to defend him on things. And I'm like, look, he made his choices. And so what's he going to say to me when I go to him and say, look, he always wants us to hold ourselves accountable when we make mistakes. Why can't he,
Exactly. Hit him with some shame. Also with your mom, honest too. Hey mom, you deserve better than how dad's been treating you. And I know you might not see it. And I know it can be scary, but like you deserve better than this. And because at some point you might have to say to your dad, hey, listen, your actions are tearing this family apart and you're kind of slowly killing mom. And if you don't want to be with her, as much as that might break my heart, you need to let her go. Now, I promise you, your mom doesn't want you to say that to your dad. And there's a risk, you could be risking your mom blaming you if your dad ends up leaving your mom because he decides that he just doesn't love her anymore. But your mom needs to she needs to hear from people like you that think she deserves more than what she's getting from your dad. And point out, if I had a boyfriend treat me like how dad's been treating you, would you want me to stay with him? You're a 23-year-old woman. Your character has been established. Whatever you stand for, I don't know. But you have the capability, as difficult as it might be, to stand up to your parents and hold them accountable and check them and kind of point out how they are acting in ways in which they did not raise you. And they are acting in ways in which they wouldn't want for you how they've been treating each other or treating themselves. Your mom hasn't been treating herself in the way she'd want you to treat yourself. Your dad hasn't been treating your mom in the which way he'd want a man to treat you. And these are things you can both point out to your parents. And you can always lead with love and say, I'll always be there. It's not fair for either of you to put your kids in the middle of this. I want the best for both of you. I hope you guys work it out. But I also just want you both to be happy. And right now, your behavior isn't I don't think either of you should be proud of it. And that's a tough conversation to have. But, I think they'll come around.
Would you suggest that I have these conversations separate with them? Or sit them both down in a room and say,
well, until
we
you're
have an elephant in the room for the past,
I don't think you should
long,
point out to your dad that you know about the affair with your mom in the room.
I would agree with that. One more thing. He, I guess recently, this past Friday, they went and had drinks at this outdoor seating area and whatnot. And I guess he had texted her a couple of days later and said, I had a great time with you the other night. Things finally feel like they're going back to normal. And part of me is, that's great. But I feel like he's either stringing her along, he's telling the truth, or, because she got really excited about that.
He might not even know. And again, on the lack of interest in therapy, I would call him a coward. A shame's a powerful tool. Especially when it coming from kids or parents or things like that. Be like, listen, you're better than the way you're treating yourself and the way you're treating my mom and the way you're treating us. And I don't think that's who you are, but it is what you're doing. So I think if you cared about us and you cared about yourself, then if for no other reason than for your children, you would be willing to investigate why you're behaving in such a toxic way because I think you're better than this. That's not the dad that I grew up revering. That's not the dad who was my hero my whole life. This is someone else. So can you work on being that person that I grew up, having be my hero? Hit him with that. Fuck.
Yeah. When I first brought up to him that, I accused him of cheating on my mom, he, denied everything to my face. And that's why we got in a big fight. But he actually told my mom that, crying, told her that he lied to me and he feels horrible about that. So I think the shame thing might work on
you
him.
have a lot of power here. Stay calm. You're not mad. You're just disappointed. Just hold him. Just stay calm and just be like, this is not okay. And the good news is that it sounds like there is something hopefully still there, and maybe they can get through it. They're not going to be able to get through it on their own. They're certainly not going to be able to get through it by avoiding reality. Your dad's not going to understand why he's made such destructive choices without some therapy.
How would you tell him? Because I definitely want to bring that up, that I, call him a coward or whatever I'm going to do about going to therapy when he,
Don't call him a coward. Just be like, just be like, I'm sorry this makes you angry, but like, I don't want to be in this position, Dad. Do you think I want to be here? Do you think I want to have this conversation with you? Do you think I enjoy calling out my dad about his behavior? And again, if you think this behavior is okay, then maybe you don't need therapy. But I think you're better than this. The premise in terms of why you have the right to bring this up is that you are giving your dad the benefit of the doubt. The benefit of the doubt that despite his toxic behavior, the same type of behavior that has the entire pop culture nation calling Tom Sandoval a sociopathic narcissist and the worst human alive, the reason why you're not willing to lump your dad into that category is because you believe he's a better person than that. Nevertheless, his actions have said otherwise. But you're willing to give him a benefit of the doubt that this is some sort of destructive personality, some past trauma that's creeping up. Ask your dad, are you willing to accept that this is the type of person you are, or are you willing to do something about it?
Did you make a choice outside of your values, or have your values changed?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to like connect the dots of like, in addition to like, the real accountability, like the path to hope. It's like the gamblers are like double or nothing, like they'll get deeper and deeper in the hole. And I think it's also like a really key part of it is connecting the dots of like, Dad, like you can say like, after all of the really hard, brutal truths, like after you really kind of establish that, saying like, Dad, like you have stuff to do. Mom loves you so much. She wants to like, she gets so excited when she feels hopeful. And I get excited for that too. And like, there is a path to like this family coming back together. And like, you're an amazing dad and I love you so much. And I want to still feel like that about you. And you have you can make choice. You have more choices to make. You made a really fucked up choice, but like you have more choices to make. And it would mean that like, I'm hoping more than anything that like you will make different choices.
Yeah, I think that's good because, I think the whole reason he's been so avoidant is he just feels, he knows this is not his character. He feels guilty and he doesn't want his kids to be disappointed in him. But the sad truth is we already know about it. And we've known about almost everything, which, maybe my mom shouldn't have shared, but it is what it is. Because if my mom's not going to say something, somebody needs to, or else he won't even have time. She's going to be way far gone by the time he gets to change and, take better actions for himself.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, but the good news is you are in control here and you have kind of all the power you could possibly want. It's just a really tough conversation for you to have. It's also not your responsibility or your job, and you can point that out to your parents, specifically your dad. But again, you need to convince your mom that she is not treating herself the way she would want you to treat yourself. And you need to convince your dad that he's not treating your entire family the way he would want someone else to treat you and your family. And stay calm and remind them that at the end of the day, both of their actions aren't helping each other or the kids. And it's not fair that you're stuck in this position, but at the same time, like enough is enough. Your lack of doing anything is creating so much pain in this family. You guys aren't 3 anymore. It's like, we're all adults. Like, you think we don't see this? Also, the fact that your sister's about to go to college, it wouldn't, like, that's another thing. Like, I'm curious how your dad's, once they become empty nesters.
I'm curious how it's going to go too. I think her and I had that conversation of, either he starts having these conversations that he didn't want to have with her in the house, or they get better and they talk more because it is just the two of them. we don't know, but I mean,
and you could say to your dad too, Dad, the reason I'm doing this is because I was hoping if I was making the same decisions you were making that you would do this for me. And so I'm doing this for you.
Okay.
I mean, truly, just like honestly, like the more you
it's true.
Envision how you would want, what would make your dad proud if this, let's say this situation had nothing to do with your parents. And whether it was you involved in a situation or a very close friend, what would you have to do to make your dad proud of you? What kind of character choices would you exemplify that your dad would, if he heard how you handled the situation, be like, that's my girl, that's my daughter. And if you just handle it that way, like the shame and guilt of you just, and the lack of fear of facing your dad and to say, I love you, but like, you're better than this. That's the theme with your dad. And listen, Dad,
okay,
I don't want you to leave Mom. You both have the right to feel loved and be loved. And if it's not going to be you, she deserves for you to let her go and vice versa. I hope that you don't do it without a fight because quite frankly, I don't think you've fought for this relationship. I think you've taken the easy way out, you know, and I know therapy might be uncomfy for you. And I know it might be difficult, but like, I just think it's cowardly not to do everything you can to save a relationship. And I think it's cowardly not to do whatever you can to be your best self. And you're clearly not being your best self. And you haven't been able to be your best self on your own. So it's time to ask for help.
And you think this should be a face-to-face conversation, not like a letter?
Yeah.
Listen, whatever you're most comfortable with it, you need to be able to kind of stand in your power whenever you have it. I think maybe write it out first, practice what you're going to say. Maybe read it to your dad to his, that's the best way. Cause especially you could get nervous. You might lose your train of thought. You might forget to say something. So write it down. And even if you say, Dad, there's a lot of things I have to say to you. I wrote it down. You know, don't tell me you have a letter to read to him, but when you meet up with him to say, can I just read this and just please like listen to me and just read it to his face. It'll be emotional. You'll both cry, but I think that's probably the best way. That way you have everything written down. You don't forget anything. You can read it calmly. You're not giving some sort of speech or presentation. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, like how you deliver it, but it just I think face-to-face is important, but I think writing it down will help you make sure you cover everything. You say what you want to say. You know, you don't kind of veer off and, you know, lead with your emotions, so to speak. You kind of stay on message. So that's what I would do. Write it down and then read it to him.
And as an aside, maybe make sure, like, if you and your sisters can spend some nice quality time together. I'm sure this has been so hard on all of you. It sounds like you're really protective of your younger sister and aware of how hard it must be for her to be in the house. And like, you know, I know that it's in some ways it's bringing you guys together, but it's also been a huge weight. So if you can just like make some time to like shoot the shit on a phone call, watch your favorite movie or something like that, like you deserve to also have some nice time together because I'm sure this has been so hard on all of you. Yeah.
And give your mom some grace. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Make her.
I have. It's also hard. So, you know, the whole thing is I've been hurting for her through all of this. And I think that's why I've kind of let her talk to me and vent to me.
I know.
Because, you know, she also has been in therapy, but she feels that they don't really give her any guidance. She wants more advice and she thinks they just listen. And I said, you know, go get another therapist. But she really has no one else to talk to because
but I get it too. Sometimes you hear someone complain over and over, you just kind of get sick of their complaints and you kind of roll your eyes on them. Just tell her how great of a mom she is. Help your mom feel confident about herself. It'll go a long way. And just gas her up and tell her she's pretty and tell her and make her, your mom needs
she's a hot mom.
Yeah.
Sure.
Your mom needs to feel good about herself. And I would just focus on that right now and let your mom vent if you can handle it because she probably feels like she has no one to talk to, you know, because it's not easy. Who do I talk to? I don't want the world to know I'm having all these struggles, but like I need to get it out, you know, and it's a tough situation. And I'm sorry you're going through this. Like you don't deserve to be stuck in this relationship, but in this situation, but I think you do have a lot to work with if you want to involve yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to listen to this recording back and you give me a lot of things to say that I wouldn't think to say, I guess. I would probably have went off emotion and went off, you know, things me and my sisters talk about, but we're, you know, navigating this and something we shouldn't be navigating. So the way you went about it, I think will work. really well.
Yeah. Again, the big
So.
takeaway is, even before you listen to it, think about like what character matters to you, what you think it mattered to your dad. How did your dad raise you? What kind of woman did he raise you to be? And ask him if he thinks he's acting in that way. Just kind of turn it around on him. Would you be proud of the way you have been treating our mom? Or how would be okay with a man treating me like this? Would you be okay with me just saying to, you know, if there was a potential solution to any of our problems, would you be okay with me not addressing every possible solution? Well, then why isn't therapy a possible solution for you? At least I have the guts to tell you face to face.
He'll be receptive.
Yeah, I do too.
I think he will. He would do anything for the three of us girls. So
that's a lot of power. So it's time to use that power.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready. I have your book, by the way, and I love it.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, there's not a ton there on facing
no, there's not. You know, I looked.
Yeah. Yeah, write the letter, focus on character and how he's treating himself and your mom, and ask him if he would be okay you doing the same, if he would be proud of you if you treated him like he's treating his family.
Real tearjerker, bringing up the stories from childhood. So if there is a time when like that really exemplifies like character for him, starting the letter with that, like really hits straight to the feels.
Sure. I do think that's a good point to bring up.
Well, good luck. And just make sure you lead with love with both of them. Let them know how much you care about them and love them. You're not mad. You're just disappointed.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Nick.
All right. Take care. Good luck. And keep us posted, please.
Thank you. I will.
All right.
For sure.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Thanks for listening. As always, don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com. We'll see you back tomorrow. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.